Wilson.
Hello. Robbie Williams has been in the public eye for more than 2 decades. First as a member of the most successful ever British boy band, Take That, and then as the most successful British solo artist of all time. He's sold 60 million. And the personal demons that have seen him struggle with alcohol and drug abuse.
I am too thin-skinned, and all the bravado and look at me and, let me entertain you, stadium full of people and bounce up and down is quite obviously a bluff.
Hell is gone and heaven's here, there's nothing left for you to fear. Shake your ass, come over here, now scream.
Maybe a celebrity or a creative or a singer is a certain type of narcissistic, egoic, thin-skinned, lovely, beautiful mess. I think people should be entertained one way or another. I get it right sometimes, I get it wrong a lot of the time too.
This summer, Robbie Williams is back on the entertainment trail with his first tour in 6 years. He's playing huge venues, including 4 nights at Wembley Stadium. Not bad for a singer who was deemed all washed up just a few years ago. After entering a rehab clinic in 2007, he faded from the limelight until a nervous, bug-eyed comeback performance on The X Factor in 2009. So when he came to the Front Row studio, I put it to Robbie Williams that the title of his most recent album, Take the Crown, was a statement of intent to prove the critics wrong.
When you're young, you hope to be menacing in vanity. 6 feet tall, maybe more, bigger now than before.
It became a statement of intent because I kind of been meandering for a couple of albums. I always knew where I was going because it was evident, and one project led into another project, one album, one tour, etc, etc, etc. And then I released an album called Rude Box, and it kind of
divided the critics.
Well, no, actually, it's like all the tabloids, jumped on it and stamped on it, but all the credible press that I normally don't get much love from.
Yeah, you got like 8 stars in the NME, which was quite interesting.
Yeah, and Mojo, loved it, and I think it was applauding for. It was applauded for trying to do something different, but the tabloid stamped over it, and they have the loudest voice. And I sort of had done 5 albums with me and Guy Chambers, and we'd done Feel and Angels and the Rock DJs, and I kind of was coming to the end of any kind of inspiration for that way of writing, which is sitting down with the guitar or sitting down with the piano. I wanted to make some noise. Some interesting noises.
You wanted to be more experimental.
And so Rude Box came to pass, and it really did sort of put a big dent in my ego, how it was treated and how it was perceived. And
did it hurt?
Oh, yeah, of course.
So you do take the critic very seriously?
Oh, listen,
You're a big guy, but you're thin-skinned.
Too thin-skinned, I along with being human, there is an element that I am too thin-skinned too, and all the bluff and the bravado and look at me and, let me entertain you, stadium full of people and bounce up and down is, quite obviously a bluff. Yeah. It's the Iron Man suit that I put on when I get up in front of that many people and, choose to be that character. But there was a lot going on alongside of that with my private life and what I was doing to myself, and I had the wonderful delusion that my audience would follow me. And, 3 million of them did, but compared to my other stuff,
right, yes,
not so great. So then I was left sort of going, well, who am I?
And who is my audience?
Who is my audience? Do I want to reach them?
Well, you've got such a diverse audience anyway, haven't you? I mean, my mum loves you and my 8-year-old daughter loves you. I mean, where do you stand in between those two? When you picture your audience, what do they look like?
I've got a diverse audience, but it's always hitting down the middle of the fairway. You know, there's kind of, I found pretty quickly, there's no room to go left or right.
Yeah.
And then it just depends what I want for myself and my career. And can your ego take not so many people buying your record?
So your ego had taken a bit of a dent, but you come out fighting on this record. It's quite a combative record. I mean, it's a record that sounds like it's itching for a fight.
Well, it is itching for a fight. You know, it is itching for a fight. It's sort of...
They said the magic was leaving me. They said it with joy. I don't think so. So it's a declaration as well.
Well, yeah. And, you know, it's always been annoyingly combative in many different ways, you know, always fighting an invisible foe. But I kind of found myself floundering in between, I want to be weird, but I really want to sell lots of records too.
And this is the dilemma then?
Well, I fell down the middle of the...
Right.
I fell down the cracks. So my aim for this record has been, right, hit it down the middle as much as I can. I still want to be in the fabric of people's lives and the soundtrack, whether you hate it or not. You know, my music's been the soundtrack of your life.
Yes.
And I still want that to happen.
But this is an apparent contradiction, is it? Because you say you're hitting down the middle of the fairway, you want the big success, you want people to buy the record, and very often within the pop genre, you're warned as a lyricist not to be too candid. You have to write the universal lyrics, but your lyrics are so often specific and personal. You are one of the most candid pop writers, I think, aren't you? I mean, do you ever, when you put a lyric onto paper or go into a studio, do you think, oh, actually, I can't release that because I'm saying too much again, I'm revealing too much?
Not at all. The only problem I do have with that is no one will cover my records because they are very
What about
much,
Robbie Williams?
They're very much Robbie centric in one way or another. I listened to Kevin Rowland's last record
From Dexys.
Yeah. And
in fact, they are just Dexys now. The Midnight Runners.
Right.
Just
Okay.
Dexys.
And I was listening to his honesty and his truth on his record, and it's quite amazing exactly how honest he is. And where he went. You know, I think there's plenty of room for me to go to even more honest places and say exactly what's on my mind, you know.
Interesting case in point, though, because he said to me on this programme that he's creating characters there. He's writing vignettes and stories and creating little plays. Now, clearly, they're all informed by his own life, but he's still hiding as an author behind these characters. You're saying that what you're singing about, what you're writing about in your album, this is you. This is you.
Well, kind of. It's still they are vignettes of a character too.
Well, let me throw some at you. I mean, hunting for you. The stone is set, the die is cast. I am the wreckage of my past. Everything I like's illegal, seductive, addictive, immoral, corrosive. You lay it bare, don't you?
Everything I like's addictive. The stone is... Yeah, you know, I think that one in particular is me trying to have a Dylan-esque moment just for that rhyming couplet. Right. I wouldn't suggest I'm anywhere near his ballpark, so, you know, no angry Twitters or emails, please.
So you're going for the alliteration and the rhythm within those words there?
Yeah, but, you know, it's kind of... the stone is set, the die is cast, I am the wreckage of my past.
Good
Sounds
line.
like, well, thank you very much. You know, to me, it's like the cowboy walking into town. So it still is in character, yes, but it is still about me and my life.
Are you always writing? Is it a way of, you know, exercising any demons that may be there?
I'm not sure.
Is it a safety valve?
I'm not sure whether it's a case of writing because of the demons that are there. I think it's a case of writing because I like to keep myself busy. And maybe in the past, you know, vanquishing the demons might have had something to do with it, but there's not many demons around these days. I just like to create because it stops me being bored.
So you don't have to wait for a deadline. You don't get the call from the record company saying you owe us an album and then you start writing. You're writing constantly.
Well, when the wheels fell off in 2007 and I went to rehab and I was ill and I thought, you know, it's the job, it's not worth me doing this. I took 3 years off. And my brain corroded because I was so bored. And then I sort of reignited it with a tiny pilot light, reignited it and got back into the swing of things. And I haven't stopped since 2009. And it doesn't look as though I'll be stopping anytime soon.
So you need to work?
Well, yeah, you know, it's...
That's the lesson of the last few years.
Need to do... I need to do something. If I'm not working, I'm looking something up on the internet about something I could work on, or about an idea I could steal, or a lyric that I could steal, or vice versa. I've always got to be doing something, or else, actually, yeah, I might be doing something destructive for myself if I don't. I haven't thought about it, but that just did appear in my brain that might be what's happening.
But you're writing to keep yourself out of trouble.
And the pie chart, I'm sure that's in there. I also write because I've been given the opportunity to be creative in this lifetime, and it's my job, and I get paid for it.
And the confrontational Robbie, the provocative Robbie, and the showbiz Robbie come together in your latest release, which is not put out in the conventional sense, but has just been delivered for free on the internet. And it's a song called The Brits 2013, which you wrote with Guy Chambers, who you wrote many albums with and actually stopped working with a few years ago, but you're obviously back reunited with him. And it's a response to the big industry get-together of last week, which you deride. In fact, you savage in song.
Yeah, it's...
what went wrong that night?
Well, first of all, I qualify it with, it's another vignette, it's another character, I am heavily influenced and always have been since I was a kid by hip-hop. And hip-hop was influenced by Jamaican boasting and toasting. Yeah. And I slip into character again for this song. It's not who I really am or...
Well, isn't it a bit of who you were and who you are now meeting at the Brits? I mean, that's the way I heard it.
Well, maybe, so it's a VD clinic, only are in it. Yeah. So corporate and dull and professional in it. I did feel that way. And by the way, I'm not saying that I was amazing at the Brits either. I was a bit dull. The performance wasn't amazing. I didn't have anybody to vibe off in the audience. Not saying that that's their fault. I'm a professional. I should take care of myself. But, I did get up on stage and turned round and I looked at a dead hall. That's not their fault, but, maybe they should have had some punters in.
The sea of suits in front. Well, that was strange, wasn't it, that they didn't have the punters, the fans at the front. In fact, it was the accountants.
The people behind the curtain know that the magic doesn't exist. Or they've been in the business for that long that they're cynical towards it.
So your response is, it's so effing corporate and professional and timid. To be frank, sir, I prefer this showbiz chancer. And you are the showbiz chancer then, are you?
Oh, yeah.
In that moment?
Well, yeah, I think we all are to certain degrees.
Do you still regard yourself as a chancer?
Yeah, unless you're Prince, everybody is. Unless you're Paul McCartney, everybody is. There's not anybody at that awards ceremony that night that's not a chancer. You have to be you have to be a bit delusional to think you can do this job. And then, luck will get you there, and then, how you play your hand is up to you.
Well, there's two ways of looking at it. As somebody who has won 17 Brit Awards, I guess it could be argued that you have more right than most to pronounce on the state of affairs or whether the Brits works. But also, you're biting the hand that feeds still, aren't you? Because you are still part of that industry.
Yeah, but I also thought... I was backstage and it was dead. It might as well have been a dentist convention. And... I'm from 1996, 97, where there was, Chumbawamba throwing a bucket of water in John Prescott's face, or Jarvis Cocker getting up on stage and then, being thrown off stage when Michael Jackson was on, or Oasis being, nasty to Michael Hutchins, or me offering Liam Gallagher on. I kind of see everything that I do as being entertaining, and that was entertainment. The dressing that goes on around those awards should be more entertaining, I feel. People should be more badly behaved or at least interesting. And I'm not saying I was in any way. I'm not, I was part of the equation too.
But you've grown up now. It's not your role to be the bad boy backstage anymore, is it? But I mean, when you refer to the beef you had with you-know-who, that's the line in the song, that you're referring specifically to Liam Gallagher there, is it?
I completely nicked a rhyming couplet from Biggie Smalls, and he was actually talking about Tupac. But... yes, that's who I was referring to, yeah.
What happened that night then?
What with?
With Liam.
I got up on stage and got an award and then said, Liam, does anybody want to see me fight Liam Gallagher? 100 grand of your money against 100 grand of my money, and we'll do it for charity and we'll do it on the television. For me, at the time, that was me entertaining too. That was,